Okay, here's the first one that I found on the actual road.
I'm Trinity Anderson, producer and narrator of Plog Vlog. Today in Brisbane, Australia, we're exploring who's the best audience for our Christmas campaign. But I'll let my foster father explain.
Pretty soon I'm going to tell you about this Boda and this bag. But first I'm going to remind you that in last week's Plog Vlog episode, we committed to picking up bottles and cans for the purpose of promoting a really important idea. And that idea is anti-fragility. It's the concept that a person goes out and deliberately seeks safe adversity for the purpose of becoming less fragile. Hey bud, how are you? Anyhow, if I'm going to spend at least a year going out on this Boda with this bag, collecting these things to promote that idea, I really want that money to direct the idea to the right people, the people who are open and receptive to it, and also the people who need it. So I'm going to spend today and tomorrow researching who those people might be. And I'll film again tomorrow and let you know what I've found. But in the meantime, I'm going to talk about this Boda and this bike. So we've been to Uganda twice in the last couple of years. And in Uganda, these bikes are used for pretty much everything. So they're transport, they are taxis. So I've been 3 up on one of these bikes many times. I've even seen people transporting goats and even a coffin, I don't know whether it was full, across the back of one of these. Since coming back to Australia, I've been looking at my big gas-guzzling, noisy motorbike and thinking it's just totally not suitable for purpose. And the idea of a Boda came to mind. So I went out searching and I found this little Honda CB125F. Cheap as anything, does about 700 kilometers on 11 liters. I have to fill up the DR about every 120 kilometers. So this is the tool that, one of the tools that I'm going to use to collect these to raise the money for promoting anti-fragility. Now let's talk about the bag. The first reason I went to Uganda was to promote reforestation. So at that time, I was doing menu log deliveries to pay for the advertising of the videos about reforestation that I created, in the hope that people in Australia would take up reforestation, care more about reforestation. I don't think that worked. So eventually I realized that I'm better off planting trees like these over here. See these? See the reforestation that's happening over here? Better off planting trees than spending my weekends out delivering food to people in the hope that other people will plant trees to save these little guys. Hey buddy.
My foster father is referring to targeted altruism, the psychological principle that directing our efforts toward a highly specific group increases our own sense of agency. It feels more planned than just shouting into the void. Recovering from the flu, his delivery is a bit scattered, but his goal is precise. While he contemplates that audience's attributes, let's pause for a story from my mother's old journals. It was August in 1993, and the relentless, grinding hustle of Turkey had completely exhausted my mother Liz and her childhood friend David. Arriving in the coastal town of Kusadasi, they were battered by constant haggling and the aggressive energy of local sales touts. Retreating to a cheap and humid hotel for the night, the environmental stress finally caught up with David. Desperate for a cold drink, but avoiding the local tap water, he made a disastrous miscalculation and drank a large cola. Because he never consumed caffeine, the chemical hit slammed into his already hypervigilant system. By 3 a.m, Liz lay awake watching him. Unable to sleep, and with his brain racing, David sat in the dim room, intensely scribbling in his journal just to burn off the anxious energy. Suddenly, the heavy quiet was shattered by 3 sharp, deafening cracks. Gunfire from a small caliber weapon, sounding as if it were right outside their window. Liz jolted upright, heart hammering. only to find David already moving. Fueled by the caffeine and pure survival instinct, he rushed to her side, placing himself between her and the window, his eyes wide and scanning the dark. For Liz, watching him operate in that state of high alert anxiety was unsettling. The simmering tension of the city had literally just exploded outside their door. The next morning, running on zero sleep and frayed nerves, they were desperate to escape Kusadasi and head for Seljuk. In a hilariously pragmatic move, they accepted a supposedly free ride out of town from a Turkish carpet salesman. As they climbed into his car, Liz and David shared a knowing, resigned look. The ride wasn't actually free. The price of their immediate escape was going to be enduring a captive, high-pressure carpet sales pitch at the other end. They knew they wouldn't buy carpet. They had neither the money nor the pack space.
So I've done my research and I think I've found the right model. It's a Transtheoretical model of behaviour change, or the stages of change model for short. And what it says is that there's 5 stages of change that people go through when they're considering change, or when change happens. Now, I think we only need to think about the first 2. And that's the pre-contemplative stage, when people aren't really thinking about change yet. And then there's the contemplative stage. Now, I think our audience is at the contemplative stage. The pre-contemplative stage, they're not really thinking about it yet. They're not thinking about the dangers of the AI Santa. Whereas once they get to the contemplative stage, imagine this. You've got a person who's sitting on a lounge. They've got the perfect Netflix in front of them. They can access the perfect video games. But they're still just not feeling right. It doesn't feel like their life is complete. They feel like something's missing. That existential vacuum that I've been talking about. Now, that person is possibly just entering the contemplative stage. That's the audience that I think that the Christmas campaign needs to target. Those people that are right on the edge. Because the people that are already making the change, they don't need us. They don't need to see. They might like to see the video. It might reinforce what they're doing, but it's a waste of money for us to advertise to that person because they're already doing it. The person at the pre-contemplative stage, they're not ready yet. And I think all they're going to do, all the video will do, is force cognitive dissonance upon them. So they're likely to turn off. In fact, they're probably not a person that's even watched this far through this video because they're just not ready. They're either not ready yet or they will never be ready. And that's fine. Maybe that sort of life is suitable for that person. But what about that person who's just not feeling right? That Netflix just isn't doing it for them. The AI Santa just isn't making their life satisfactory, isn't making them satisfied with the life they've got. What about that person? I think that's our target audience. The next step is to find out how to access that audience through YouTube. I'll let Trinity explain the rest of the Transtheoretical model to you while I have a look up here at the Mount Gravatt lookout for any cans and bottles that might have been dropped last night.
So, rather than broadcasting our Christmas campaign to everyone, we are targeting a very specific audience. We are looking for the person sitting quietly at the crossroads of modern convenience, feeling the heavy pull of a sedentary life, who may just need a gentle shock to choose resilience rather than the atrophy that comes from too much comfort. Maybe the Christmas campaign will only find one person like that. If so, we've decided that is enough. If that's you today, you could bypass your own task paralysis by performing one microact of safe adversity.
Good morning.
Go for a brisk walk at dawn, or pick up a few pieces of litter to provide immediate physical proof of your own agency.
Let's try out my new bag. This one's squashed for me already. Can I get it in? I think it did. Let's see. Did it go in? I don't know. Let me have a look. Yes, they did. They did go in.
On the end screen now, over a clip taken from the Christmas campaign video, the next episode is hovering on the left, and our compilations are waiting on the right. And please, if you're worried about sliding into an existential vacuum, just pick up 5.